Okay, Battletech enthusiasts, I want to share with you this new lance that I've put together. And the idea behind it is to have a nice, compact, starting Battletech kit. We're looking at total warfare. So a combination of mechs, vehicles, and infantry support that you can utilize across numerous different missions, numerous games. A little bit of an answer, or an answer for everything that your opponent might throw against you. And in building this lance, I wanted to do it because I'm going to be reaching out to some additional Battletech players in the local New York community and kind of networking and rolling some dice and blowing some stuff up. And I thought it would be good to kind of test an all-takers, a generalized lance. And these were the choices that I've come up with. So this podcast kind of works really well because I've been asked a number of times, Fritz, getting started in Battletech, what are some of the ideas or what are some of the things I should be looking at in terms of lance building? And I thought this would be a great chance to certainly not show you the way, because there is no the way in Battletech, but to share with you my tactica and thought process from the perspective of a starting lance, why I've selected the mechs that I've selected. Now this goes against, or I should say this contrasts a lot of my other builds, because my Battletech and Wargaming personality is often, and Battletech accommodates this. This is the amazing part about the game. You want to do something crazy like all heavy and assault mechs, you can do it. You want to do LRM, long-range missile, kind of saturate the entire battlefield. That's one of my favorite lances, where I'm throwing down anywhere from 160 to 200 real-time, every single turn missiles. You can do that. But from the perspective of, I don't really know what I'm going to be facing. I want a lot of diversity. I want to have an answer for a little bit of everything on the table. These are my selections. Now, in building this, I want to be able to have a core lance that I can add or subtract a mech against, and likewise build up or build down with vehicles. So I can play smaller games, medium-sized games, or even pushing it into larger point games. And in terms of larger battle value, not just adding stuff on. This is kind of the trap in Battletech or in wargaming in general. If someone wants to play a larger battle value game and you only really have 4,000 battle value, they want to play 6. Now you start taking mechs that don't work as well, or you start adding on stuff to bring up your battle value, and you really don't have synergy. So in selecting the units I've picked, there is synergy between everything. So I can scale up or I can scale down. So let's talk about mechs. The command mech is a battle master. Now, certainly it is iconic, and it has a lot to offer. With that, it has a really good combination of armor, speed, and weaponry. A battle master is a great anchor mech. You can put that down and it can take a lot of punishment. So by selecting the battle master as my command mech or my lead mech, this allows it to hold its own. If I need to regroup, I can just park that battle master somewhere key, and not that I want to go slugging back and forth for 4 or 5 or 6 turns, but I could do that. If I need to play a mission where I'm a breakpoint or assaulting a stronghold, I send that battle master in there. It's got the tonnage for the fists. Now this is why I selected the battle master, say, against the stalker. Stalker, you have to have heat management. Absolutely. Stalker can put out more firepower, but not necessarily sustained firepower. And the Stalker, all the variants, doesn't have any hands. The Battle Master, you've got the 2 hands, so we have access to physical attacks. Its weaponry certainly generates heat, but I can sustain fire those weapons over numerous turns to take care of that. And it also has a number of interesting variants. So a solid mech for the command structure. Second, Thunderbolt. Now, the Thunderbolt's kind of interesting because certainly it has heat issues like the Stalker, but unlike the Stalker or other heavier mechs, heavy and assault class mechs, it doesn't have a crazy amount of weapons. But what it does have is, even for its weight class, solid armor. So again, this is going to allow me to, if I have to, just duke it out, but also be in a variety of tactical situations. But for a heavy mech, the Thunderbolt has an answer for everything. Meaning, I've got the large laser, and of course there's variants. We're just talking stock. Large laser, I can push that out. I've got machine guns. I've got missiles, I've got medium lasers, I've got a little bit of everything so I can engage a variety of targets. So if I'm marching forward and I'm going to take that Battle Master and use that as the tip of the spear to just, well, actually like a giant club, to beat you over the head with, whatever you're going to counterattack with, I might not know. Because again, I'm going to try and reach out of my local Battletech group. I don't know what I'm going to face. I don't know what missions we're going to play. The Thunderbolt has the tonnage to have an answer towards everything. So now we move into medium mechs. And with a medium mech, I feel like the choice that you pick in your lands really plays off of the light mech. So these two are combined. The medium mech, I have the Blackjack. And for my light mech, I have the Stinger. And that was a little bit, it was hard to narrow it down to just one choice. The Blackjack has okay armor. It has jump capability. It's long-range support. So this mech is going to kind of hang back a little bit as my two heavies or my heavy and assault kind of push forward. It's going to lay down some firepower with the autocannons. If I need to push a little bit, then I can now utilize the lasers on it. If my opponent brings some air units, I have some long-range autocannon fire on there with it. It's a solid support mech. In terms of a support mech, I'm trying to balance out the battle value. I would certainly maybe say a rifleman. Well, rifleman's awesome, but now we're kind of getting into points that I need to spend on the Thunderbolt and the Battlemaster. Likewise, there are a few light or heavier light mechs. You know, that fine line where it's like it could be a heavy mech, it could also be a light mech. It's a light medium mech or a heavy light mech, right? That kind of tonnage divider right there. But by taking a dedicated medium mech, I have that support to push it out there. For recon, or for my light mech, I picked the Stinger. And we're going to push up a separate podcast vlog on that. Certainly a Jenner would have given me tremendous firepower. Certainly I could have gone with something to skirmish with, like the Thorn. Certainly I could have gone for the lulls and play a Locust on there. But I feel like with the Stinger, I've got speed, I've got maneuverability, I have the machine guns and the medium laser to threaten infantry, so it's a great kind of, you've got some sort of artillery or some sort of support unit, you know, an LRM carrier in the back, and you've got some infantry guarding it because infantry make amazing units. They're really good at guarding stuff because you get them in terrain, you get them into fortifications. Maybe you take two stands, one an LRM, one a laser or SRM. They're a challenge to dig out. The Stinger's going to do that. The Stinger is going to go up there, use the dual machine guns, use the medium laser. It also has the hands. So in terms of a recon or a cash and grab mission or, you know, loot something, I can manipulate, I can pick stuff up. That was kind of the thought process over not taking the Jenner or not taking the Locust or something else without hands. And for the battle value, it's good. I'm kind of saving points. So that is the core lance to play with. Now, if we go with less points, maybe I drop the Thunderbolt, so not a full four mech lance. If we have more battle value to add on, now I start adding on vehicles. So the first vehicle, the vehicles I was looking at, I wanted redundancy in there, meaning I want to be able to take two. Because if we advance the battle value to higher things, I can now take multiples of the same vehicles that have synergy on there and play that duality, play that redundancy in there. The core vehicles I'm taking are the Strikers. Not the best armor, but if I keep my mechs, I keep my opponents occupied with my mechs, the Striker becomes less of a focused target on there. It combines short-range missiles and long-range missiles. The duality of both systems in there means I can use the Stinger for indirect fire. If I'm an attacking mission on the way in, I can utilize those LRMs. If we're in kind of a closer in city fight type mission, the SRM packs become a lot more deadly on there. So just a solid missile support vehicle and utilizing and pushing that out. I've also taken two Shreks, and they're amazing tanks. They are, because you've got good armor, you've got 3 PPCs, so not only do you have redundancy in one tank, you've got 3 PPCs. And I can fire them every single turn. That's like the price of admission for an awesome mech without paying that battle value. And taking 2 of them, that is going to leverage a lot. Plus, it's on a turret. So if I do get immobilized, it's not as dire as, say, some of the heavier tanks that have everything facing forward on there. It is a solid. So if I need to bring a little more punch, then that's what we're going to utilize there. And then the final piece, and this is true of any Battletech Lance or anything you're going to bring, infantry. You always need infantry. I have 3 stands of infantry. They're generic, so I could play them as jump infantry. I could play them as SRM or machine gun infantry. I don't have a delivery system for them. So I don't have a Goblin tank. I don't have a Karnov air support. I would like to get those in, but not as necessary as kind of a general all-takers type list playing against a bunch of different scenarios. If I need to go defensive, then we deploy that infantry. If I need to go offensive, then maybe we go with jump and they just kind of pull the Starship Trooper type thing and jump along there. They can park and babysit the striker carriers, so put that out there. They can work with the mechs in tandem. You can never go wrong with taking infantry in Battletech. I'm a firm believer that at any battle value, minimum 2 stands just to put in there. Not only is an initiative sync, but just the flexibility of what you can do. Even though it's a mech game, infantry still have a lot of value in the BT universe. That's my thought process. That's my tactica. And I'm going to kind of write up on my blog, underneath this video is the link to my blog, in more detail, kind of how the units work, the synergy, and get into more detail there. But this is going to be my going against anybody, anytime, any place, anywhere type Lance, and we'll see how it does.